Hello folks, great you're watching again and welcome to this English summary. Well, today's plan was to align the brake shoes because one of our viewers, one of you, pointed us to the fact that the 2 Chevaux, the 2CV Citroën, that's we call it the ugly duck in Dutch, but I don't know if that's the name for it in America or UK or from where you're watching. Anyway, the brake shoes should be aligned by some procedure, and well, this Citroën has the same design for the brake shoes. So I did some investigation and I found out on Google, of course, how to do this. So the idea was to do that for today. But first we had to assemble the clutch cylinder. Yes, we fixed that the day before, but assembling it was not so easy. But because the bolts which hold this cylinder, the thread holes inside of the flywheel house, that's aluminium, one was there was no thread left, and the other one, well, someone has broken a top in there, so it wasn't us. When we disassembled it, there was only one bolt. The thing is, the space between the flywheel house and the car's body is like this. So this does not fit there. Even if you have the special drill with the angle, for tight spaces, then it even won't work. So we have to remove the flywheel house in order to fix these holes. Removing the flywheel house was not a nice job. It's because it's a little bit of a weird design. Normally you have the gearbox and then the flywheel house. The flywheel house, of course, is bolted to the engine, and if you remove these bolts, you can remove the gearbox together with the flywheel house. Yes, that's because the flywheel house is bigger on the side of the engine than the flywheel, therefore you can slide it off. But I'm not sure. I think the designer of this gearbox hates mechanics because the flywheel house was built around the flywheel. Okay, so in order to remove the flywheel house, first we have to separate the gearbox from the flywheel house, and then you would say, you can unbolt the flywheel house and then turn it around and then slide it off. But that was also not possible, because there were some pins which align the flywheel house and the engine, and those pins were longer than the clearance between the flywheel house and the flywheel. So we could slide it off, but not from these pins, so we cannot rotate it. Therefore, we have to remove the flywheel, and in order to remove the flywheel, of course, we have to remove the pressure plate. So we did that, then we can remove the flywheel, and then in the end we could remove the flywheel house. Okay, we repaired one thread hole by this kind of helicoil thread thing. I'm not sure that, well, you have seen it in the video. You can drill the hole, use an oversized tab, and then you can insert this repair screw thread. Oh, well, and that will do. Then you have a new thread hole for that. But on the other one, it was I think the former owner also had this issue, that his drill did not fit like this between the flywheel house and the car bodywork. So he decided to just drill the hole like this. Then he broke his tab in there as well. So the original position for the hole was completely messed up because one hole was drilled like this, and it also had this broken piece of top in there. So we could try to extract this broken piece and then use the TIG welder to create some new aluminium over there and drill a new hole. But we thought it was easier to leave it as it is and drill a new hole into the clutch cylinder and also make a new hole inside of the flywheel house. So we did that, and then we had to assemble everything again. That was some kind of a puzzle, because then it turns out you cannot just assemble the flywheel house and then assemble the flywheel, because that's also not possible. Because normally flywheels are connected with bolts, but this one has studs on the crankshaft and it's bolted there with nuts. That's completely nuts, because the studs are like this and the flywheel should go like that, but it could not go like that because there was our flywheel house in the way. So we had to unbolt the flywheel house again and then do this at once. I think when they were designing this, it was in the afternoon and they had some vodkas probably, but it makes no sense. Okay, so we did that, and of course we had the gearbox there, laying there, separated from the car. So it is a good idea to open it and see what's inside, because when we drained the oil from the gearbox, we noticed some broken metal parts inside of the drain plug. It has a magnet, so it catches the small metal parts. We noticed there was some debris in there. Therefore it was good to open the gearbox and see where it came from, of course. So, gears look fine, bearings were fine. The thing probably which caused the small pieces was I am not sure how to explain this in English, but you have for the gearbox this collar, the shifting collar it's called, that connects the gears onto the shaft, and that's how a gearbox works. You can connect different gears to the driving shaft, and therefore you have several reductions that can be switched on and switched off. That's how a gearbox works. This shifting collar has small pawls inside, which works as a locking pawl, so it will stay in gear. These pawls were gone. It looks like somebody removed those in the past, because there was liquid gasket everywhere on this gearbox. So it was obvious it has been opened and repaired in the past somewhere. So originally, of course, you have these paper gaskets, but those were removed, and there was this kit. Is that a proper word for it? Okay, good. Anyway. We don't have the spare parts for that. I think it still works, because there is also a pin which holds the shifting lever in position in gear, so that, it just works. If when we assembled it, we checked the gears and it just shifts into gear, and that works fine. Interesting detail for the gearbox is that the first gear is similar as the reverse gear. It has straight teeth and it does not have a synchro mesh. It actually is just a gear wheel which is slided onto another gear, and if you slide it in to one side, it will switch on the first gear. If it slides the other side, it will switch on reverse gear, because there is a secondary gear wheel on that at that gear. So you have 3 gears actually transferring the power, so that reverses the rotation of the outgoing shaft. So that's for the reverse. Then for second and third gear we have the shifting collar, and it has synchronized, it has synchromesh rings. So that's an interesting thing. I'm really curious how the car sounds when it's driving in first gear, because then it will make that howling sound like a car in reverse. Because the straight gears, you can hear this sound like the singing sound. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, well that was for the gearbox and the repair for the clutch cylinder. And after that, yeah, the day was almost done. Yeah, we made the tool for aligning the brake shoes, just for the ID, because that was what we said we were going to do. Okay, and that's about it. I would say thank you for watching and see you next time.